What's happening, guys? Wait. Just kidding. All my spiritual superpowers have been halted until I can learn to get to a safe location to develop my spiritual energy. And I'm surrounded by racists, prejudiced drug addicts on all sides that want nothing more than to see my powers sucked out of me. And that's the truth. Someone just asked me if I was gang stalked. What? Put the cigarette out. Put it back in my pocket so the birds don't eat it. Someone asked me if I was gang stalked. Let me get to the point. So I made the decision to cross this. I felt a little bit of light. Oh, that's a good decision. And then a butterfly just flew from right to left, which is what I asked the universe to give me a sign if I'm on the right path, to send something going from right to left, and if I'm on the wrong path, to send something from left to right. And it happens so much sometimes, it's completely unavoidable. I have performed on stage to hundreds of high schoolers outside Oakledge Park in Burlington and asked, if I'm on the right path, give me a shooting star. And then one went by. And I said, if it's all gonna be okay, give another one. And it went by. And then a couple times I was screaming and crying and begging, like, I don't know what to do, please just give me a shooting star. And then I've gotten 3 of them. And then I picked up who I call my foster brother, but I have no relation to him other than our last names technically stem from the same family. And I just met him and we were both wearing Ireland shirts, whose biggest song at the time was pretty much an exact description of my life. Oh. But they asked if I was gang stalked. I'll tell you, as I'm on my meditation journey on the front lines in Vermont, which has a very low police presence and a very high prejudice and very high addiction to hard drugs. And you know, at least in the hood, if you get shot, there's like 60 people that know what happened, and you can't really escape it. In Vermont, if you're walking down the side of the street and a truck goes by on a back road and just pops you, then you're dead. No one's ever gonna find out who did it. And I'm in one of those towns, and the biggest drug dealer of that town attacked me while I was finally, after years of trudging through and learning skills on how to use my energy to start creating moments. And I did it at the center of town. One of the biggest drug dealers showed up and tried to fight me, and I had to kill him with a hatchet. But all the time, as I'm walking through my day-to-day, and I'm taking in energy from nature, I'm walking through the woods, I'm singing with birds, I'm learning how to let go and surrender to love, and how to move with the new discipline I've learned from overcoming such trauma in my life, where I fight for months against what I feel like are other people's personalities and energies constantly attacking me and roping me into spells. And I fight back against it. And I push through for weeks. I'm talking about sun up to sun up every single day. So here, the crows are cawing. I'm out in the public area. I'm about to tell you about how the color red shows up with the gang stalkers. And a guy in a red jacket on a bike stopped in his tracks directly in front of me. There's lots of videos on my channel of me trying to meditate and come back to this sense of what I'd call it perfection, the most meaningful way to live, the most Casey, the most powerful version of myself, where I'm a leader and I'm about to start going on a path that will help break everybody's limiting beliefs and bring you back to this freedom of creation. As the red truck is pulling in, and then suddenly there's like men in military uniforms stomping around. Everyone's staring at me. People are trying to get close to me. Earlier today, I spent a couple hours meditating, and I walked to my car to put my phone on the charger, and 3 crackheads surrounded me, and a 6-year-old child. But the 6-year-old child was talking way more intelligent and way more mature, like I was speaking to like a 60-year-old veteran that was in charge, and everyone else was emotional dirtbags. And the things that they said, like when these guys, I call them gangstalkers, show up when I'm feeling good and they're coming to check me or test me or steal my energy or whatever, they usually give hints to show me that, yeah, there is a higher, more complex way of operating if you just look closer at it. Like someone in the past, that guy that, when a girl I really liked for a long time, that I was never going to hit up until I was buff and rich, hit me up out of the blue and was like, I think you're really cute. And then right when she did it, as I'm making an album called Bearcat in my car, on the other side where there's currently a red car, there was a guy that pulled up with a big box truck, which was what I was manifesting, with a big, nice Maine Coon black cat, which is my favorite. I have 2 black cats back home that my dad is taking care of as I'm traveling around the country. And that cat's name is Bear. So I'm making an album that's red, black, kind of like a dark maroon, wine color, brown color scheme, called Bearcat, as the state police are coming in. The same state police that I was meditating and I walked into town. The car's leaving. Right when I say meditating and I'm happy, he's taken off. Look how fast. When I started to bring I said something that brought positive energy towards me. And that guy freaked out, and now he's speeding as fast as he can. In a loud car that makes a low bass sound, which attracts negativity towards it. That guy in the Bearcat showed up, and I had never talked to him for weeks. He's on the other side, I'm on this side, but I'm always catching him staring at me. I'm always feeling like there's an energetic war going on. It was during Aries, which, when the sun is in Aries, Mars rules over the planet. People are more aggressive and going out to conquer. People are more focused on the crown, trying to overstep each other. That's when the rap beef was going on. So that guy shows up right when she's texting me and it's going well. She's giving me the most fire memes I've seen in my entire life. I'm trying my hardest to focus. I'm feeling all this negative pull every time that I feel like there's good emotions coming towards me, and I'm starting to use my skills to make something good happen. Start to progress the story in a good direction where I could make something legendary happen, and I'm starting to see it. The portal's opening. I'm seeing my true self. Everything's going well. The girl that in my head, I could see myself loving and like having a relationship with, and like kind of like the girl I was using as my dreams, hits me up when I'm finally free as another red truck is pulling in, trying to divert my attention through years of psychological programming to make me believe that the red truck is bad, where it's like a sequence of events where I hit a certain level of consciousness and then I'm traumatized. And it happens so often, and then when I get past the red truck, then police get involved. That's what I was saying, is that I felt good, meditated, went into town, and then some random fat 40-year-old white woman called the police and tried to have me arrested for walking around with a hatchet in my pocket because I was chopping firewood in the woods. And I just had it on me as I left the woods and went to go get a glass of water from the store. And she tried to tell them that I pulled it out and threatened her with it, so the police were ready to shoot. They came out guns blazing, and I had to humble them and then call their sergeant and then do the whole thing and then call another police precinct to get them humbled and in trouble. And then the good cop, the one good, nice kid that wasn't brainwashed and ego powered as the crows. Crows are getting closer. The crows will start to circle, usually. If I can imagine myself connected to the heavens and I can really push myself and I have enough connection and the portal is open and I have enough sunlight in my system, then the crows will start to surround me and they'll start to caw to trigger my subconscious to pay attention to them. Does that make sense? This guy in the Bearcat comes over and he opens my car door and I'm there trying to hide and covet my energy to craft a good response to keep her emotions in check because she's interested. What the fuck? There's a scorpion in my car, look. What the fuck? How'd the scorpion get in my car, bro? It's like a little toy scorpion. I've never had this in my life. The people that broke into my car left a toy scorpion that's brown and yellow. Drake is a Scorpio. Kendrick beat Drake. That's what I want to make that seem. So he comes over, opens my car door, and he's asking me questions, and I can feel him there's some spirit that he's attached to looking for an angle. It's like I get out and try to talk to him, and then he's stomping around me saying negative things, talking about his own life. Kind of like I'm doing now, but not in an educational way, more like just complaining. And I can feel him just trying different angles to try to rope it out. Eventually he like got a tendril in me and I felt it like pump his spiritual energy into me like rape. And then suddenly I couldn't come up with jokes. He started laughing and cackling, which happens a lot with these demonic entities. He reveals to me that he overdosed and died a long time ago. And that's why he's fucked up and he walks around like a robot. It's probably because he's gone and he's being puppeted by something. As the good birds are coming in now. The crows are leaving. It's my mom's favorite bird. It's the birds you don't really hear anymore. The like the nostalgia birds. When people play music. And I just saw a little tiny wisp of light. Tiny wisp of light come out of the forest and go behind this tree. And now it's all blue cars, but somebody is pulling in. This is on the charger now, so I don't have to be here. I can leave. Let me just make sure that I have my key. Which I don't. It's a good thing that I checked. The cars, obviously, is he coming near me? They're going, so I have like a comfort point when I talk because I'm a Sagittarius and my dad and I, like, we have a 1,000-mile stare. So we feel the most comfortable. Now I'm hearing voices in my head calling me a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch, like saying I'm a pussy because I'm leaving. Something's trying to get a rise out of me in the spirit realm because they're carrying a current. When they go in and they get attached to, like, imagine like a giant tentacle monster octopus in the electromagnetic spectrum that feeds off information and grows. That thing carries with it a lot of energy and that thing tries to attack me. But it's all in response to my own thoughts. So the proof of that is, let's say I was for months, years, I've been talking about Vikings having red hair and being these short goblin freaks that try to take advantage of peaceful monks. And then the Ed shows up with Bearcat in the colors of my album cover while I'm making Bearcat, and he attacks me while the girl that I like hits me up out of nowhere as I'm going through a really traumatic couple weeks after someone hit the biggest drug dealer in town. I killed with a hatchet. And they're trying to pay somebody to come kill me. This guy shows up and he won't leave me alone. And he's trying to possess me and all this shit. I'm praying to God, get me enough to get somewhere I can get in a storage unit, hide in the storage unit, turn it into a podcast studio, get a motorcycle, go in and out of town, get a bench press, work out as hard as I can, build up skills, build up content, make music videos, place my foothold in the community as a creator, get all my other creative friends involved, start pumping out content. So I got these guys that checked me today and robbed me, including a kid that talks like he's very intelligent. He's like a 6-year-old kid that was negotiating with me, selling his mountain bike. And he was holding his own better than most adults. And talking about, it is what it is. The kid says, because I'm talking to like his uncle, which has a bunch of shitty jail tattoos, and the guy's just, he wanted to play master and he wanted to dominate me. I was tired. I was like, God, I'm just I have this thing in my head that God is going to punish them. I don't think he will. I don't think God cares. I think that those guys hurt me, and I think that God's probably tough love, right? You want to be this badass warrior. We're not going to punish them for hurting you. We're going to humble you for trying to take on that challenge when you weren't ready. But they definitely deserve it. Like, I tried to steal my energy. I don't steal energy, bruh. I'm constantly fighting people that do, to help kids that don't understand what's happening to them. You feel me? But this kid was fucking evil. And this time last year, there was another kid that was like that same level of maturity that revealed things to me. But this kid said, I'm talking about how this guy stole my stuff earlier. And he was an asshole and making life hell for me. And then the kid goes, did that guy have red hair? And then I'm just talking about stuff, and he was like, you should get a storage unit. And then he got in a red truck, his dad's red truck, the same like maroon color I'm talking about with the gangstalkers. And he stands in the center of it, on top of it. He's like, do you like my truck? One day I'm gonna have my own tow truck. And he's 6. Talking about one day he's gonna have a tow truck business, and he'll be able to steal people's cars whenever he wants. Like what happened to my car that caused me to be homeless and have to endure all this violence was because a tow company stole my car. But yeah, like I've made a hit single before where I spent weeks cultivating love and understanding and knowledge and fighting and making love to pretty girls and fighting off violence and trying to function with my overwhelming, possibly like brain damaged, traumatized schizophrenia. Alone in a building surrounded by horrible people that wanted to take advantage and molest me, that knew about black magic and would actively use me as a dummy for rituals and all this shit. And I finally make a song I'm so happy about, and I'm getting ready to release it. And then bam, police don't stop coming to my house, 2 at a time, every single day for a month straight, until there was like 7 or 8 cops, because one of my neighbors decided to tell them that I was a drug dealer and I was dealing out of the house when I don't have any people over. I'm just sitting there alone by myself, happy, like trying to find happiness. And then somebody lies. Like the other night, I was singing to myself. I had just freed myself again. Like I pushed through and freed myself. And 2 crackheads in the parking lot started fighting. Woman said to call the police. And they got louder and louder the more I drew my attention away from them and back to God, to like attach myself to a higher timeline in my imagination. The closer I got to that, the more that she was trying to literally like attack and hurt this other guy. And then he took off, and she wanted me to call the police. As soon as I got close to her, she tried to hit me. She called me the N-word. She called the police a bunch of N-words. She walked away. I felt drained, lifeless. And then she showed back up later to talk about conspiracy theories and simulation theory and aliens and all, and possessing people and all this stuff, after she left the scene and came back. And the police that showed up were the ones that tried to bully me when the woman lied about the hatchet. And someone had already called the police and told them that a Native American boy, while I was trying to manifest while I was making Native American music and I was talking to a Native American girl online, they said a Native American boy was attacking the locals. And they called the police on me, so they were showing up expecting to kill me. And they had already I had already humbled one of them by calling his sergeant, so he was pissed. So he was trying to like question me and try to assert himself after I'm having all this stress happening and overwhelming feelings. And I've had police tackle me and rip me out of cars while I'm meditating, while I'm door dashing. I'm door dashing and I'm going place to place and I'm fighting through to get myself to my mission, and I'm making amazing songs, and then I have a creative breakthrough, and then a cop with like eyes like this, angry as fuck, aggressive and violent, is trying to rip me out of the car immediately and do whatever he can to steal it from me and take it away and hold it over me. And it happens so much, so often. The only reason I'm able to have this level of consciousness and cognizance is because I've endured it for so long and I don't give up. Usually I'd be a lot more militant, intelligent, determined, sexy, charismatic, charming, funny, creating good stuff, carefree, peaceful, whatever. I'd have a personality, like an individual personality, but so much has happened. And I don't have a door I can lock myself in. I don't have a car that I can leave the environment. I'm trapped here. And what's funny is a year ago, that girl that I said was way older than she should have, like she acted way older than she is, told me that in a year I would be in a shack in the woods no matter how hard that I fought. She had no idea how hard I fight. And I'm in a shack in the woods. And also there was a girl that I wanted to have a kid with that I manifested that tried to sacrifice me to a dragon. And then this year, a girl that I manifested that I wanted to have kids with got me just enough to invest and then cut off all contact. And then suddenly she's performing a song with someone else from a long time ago, like a very significant person in my life that I had always kind of felt that initial rejection and holding my power over me and using me like an abuser from 10 years ago. She's now 10 years later. That girl is in a video online of her performing a song with that guy and like acting all submissive and feminine around him. And I'm here fighting crackheads to the death to make a song that can wake people up to a better way of seeing things, which I've been trying to do since I was born, which turns out is the primary objective and purpose and life mission of somebody with the numerology of my birth, bruh. But on the bright side, another girl that I've been trying to find for years, and I haven't been able to find her Instagram or her social media to get a hold of her. As I'm at like one of my lowest and broken and feeling terrible, I opened my phone and she didn't add me, she didn't message me, but she watched my Instagram story. So I at least know now how to get a hold of her. And she looks almost identical to me. I don't know why I've got the Fran Fine fucking 80s perm. I like the long hair, bro. That's traditional masculinity. Short hair was invented for slaves. Warriors, they would cut their hair to emasculate them. In every culture across the world, for as long as time, except for the last 100 years, the strongest men and the most badass men had the longest hair. And the more majestic and thick the hair was, the stronger the man's genetics and the braver his ancestors were in battle. Like if you look at a guy and he naturally has extremely thick hair that grows really long very quickly, those were the men that endured and survived the most badass men, the ones that were in the cold fighting Siberian tigers and won. The guys that were the most psychically in tune and intuitive because the strands on their hair were like antennas. And a lot of people think that we used to be able to move our hair because we were able to control more of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we were able to have respected boundaries and energy systems in our DNA that were able to control our aura and would move our head like Medusa's snakes to commingle and interact psionically with each other in the woods. And my whole life, that's what I'm saying, is that these strangers in my life, from when I'm born to when I die, I'm just traveling all day. So I'm in like one giant long trail of my life. It's like one big long adventure. And it's like the people that I talk to, I can see them automatically. And usually I have a gift of discernment or whatever, being an emotional visionary, born on the 11th 33 life path. When people talk, it's like I can see their cowardice, I can see what they're afraid to say, I can see what they really think, I can see their intentions, I can smell their intentions when I'm fasting and eating healthy. And those strangers reveal to me motifs that enhance my story. Like I'll notice in my autistic pattern recognition that like people divert the conversation and they just say this one line of a sentence. And I notice that like 60 people will say that one line in the sentence throughout the year, that they like divert to that. Like their consciousness wants to spit that out at me. And then I try to tie that together with what else that I see and what fits in with that. And I connect the dots. And then I wake up to some like unfathomable eureka moment about my life. And then that pattern changes and suddenly I don't hear that anymore unless I forget. And then I'm moving on to the next lesson.